Hello nerds, Kate here, and today I'm going to be talking about Disney Pixar's newest movie, Onward. I'd been planning to see this movie in theaters about a month ago, shortly after it came out, but with the whole COVID-19 thing, it was removed from theaters, and I didn't get a chance to see it. But luckily, Disney put it on their streaming service earlier this month, and I was able to watch it. I'm gonna try and give as complete a review as I can without giving away any spoilers because it really is worth watching in my opinion. Basic premise of the movie is that in a land where magic and technology both exist, technology has essentially won. Magic has really faded into the stuff of legend, and it's not really used in everyday life. The story follows the main character Ian and his brother Barley as they try to bring their dad back. Now this is a little bit complicated because they're not trying to bring him back for good, but he died when Ian was a baby, and Ian doesn't have any memories of him, and Barley only has a few. When their father was sick and dying, he managed to put together a spell that, when they were older, would allow him to visit for a day? I don't know what the correct term would be, but essentially for 24 hours he would be there. Unfortunately, while they're casting the spell, something goes wrong, and he only half comes back. So the rest of the movie is about them searching for this power source that will let them finish the spell, but they only have a day in which to do it. Overall, I absolutely loved this movie. I'll talk about a few specific things that I really liked, but if you're looking for a recommendation, here it is. Go watch it. Some of the specific things that I really enjoyed. I love the whole premise of magic and technology. It's not something you see very often. If a story has magic in it, then it's usually set in a fantasy world where technology is kind of stuck in the Middle Ages. On the flip side, if you have a story that heavily features science and technology, there's almost never magic involved. For this movie to set up the two of them as sort of opposing forces was really interesting. In a world where both technology and magic exist, technology would kind of win. It's more accessible, it's easier to use, you don't have to study for years in order to use it, so even though it's kind of sad that magic has kind of fallen out of favor in this world, it absolutely makes sense. It should come as a surprise to pretty much no one if you know anything about Pixar, but this movie was kind of an emotional gut punch. I say that with all fondness. It was absolutely fantastic, and I'll probably watch this movie again, but be aware that, like, it's kind of sad. Honestly, Pixar, I don't know how you keep doing this to me, but, like, you make something that's essentially a glorified pair of pants very emotive, and I don't get it. The two main characters were absolutely fantastic. The two brothers, played by Tom Holland and Chris Pratt, they did such a good job of portraying a very real sibling relationship. For such a sad story, the writers did a very good job of keeping it well balanced with a lot of humor, as well as a lot of serious stuff. I think one of my favorite things about this movie, though, was the main characters' motivations. They both want to bring their dad back, but it's not about bringing him back to life. It's really about getting closure for both of them. Barley, the older brother, has a few memories of his dad, but most of the memories he has are of him being sick and being close to death, which is kind of traumatizing for a young kid. So he wants to see his dad so that his last memory is not a bad one. Ian, on the other hand, has never met his dad, so all he really wants is to know who his dad is. He has a lot of information about his dad, but as often happens when someone has passed, we tend to really only focus on the good and not the whole person. So he just wants to know who is his dad and can he be like him. So anyway, instead of going on a whole rant about that, I'll just wrap things up here. If you're interested in more of my words, you can check out a link below to my website, or you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Kate G. Jameson. If you've seen Onward, leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you will see me next time, word nerds.